Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Zselyke, and today I'm going to be talking with my friend Céline all the way from a marketing agency in London. And today we're going to be talking about how you can use the best and most powerful tools on Google Ads to generate leads for your business. We're going to especially talk about lead form generation, but turns out that this is quite a vast topic. So I'm going to be dividing this video into 3 different parts. So welcome, this is part number 1, where we talk about lead form generation in general. And in the following 2 videos, we're going to talk about specific formats of lead generation on Google Ads. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Hey everyone, today I'm here with my good friend Céline from London. She works for a marketing agency. We actually used to be colleagues a few years back in the Canary Islands. And today we're here to talk a little bit about lead generation on Google Ads. So Céline, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Céline. I work in London for a digital agency and I'm in charge of an auto client. This year I've been working a lot with lead generation, so I'm really excited to tell you more about it.
Thank you so much for being here. And this is actually a very exciting topic because I know in the past couple of years, Google has been starting to roll out these specific formats created for lead generation. And there's lead form extensions and there's different types of lead form formats also on YouTube and display. So we are going to be talking about all of that in this 3-series video. So thank you so much for joining me, Céline.
Well, thanks for inviting. It feels good to work again together.
So maybe we can actually start about talking a little bit about what is a lead form.
Yeah, so a lead form ad is just an ad format that allows you to collect data directly from your ad. It's available in search, in YouTube, in discovery. I'm not sure about display, but the first 3, yes, for sure. It's also available on mobile, desktop, tablet. So no TVs. And also it's available in most countries. At the moment, it's still an open beta, so you need to be whitelisted for some of the products. But in 1 year, everyone should have access to them.
And I know in some types of formats is at least to some level restricted. I think at least on video, you have to have a certain amount of spending in order to be able to use these formats, right?
Yes, for YouTube, for example, you need to have spent at least $50,000. So it's not everyone that has access. It's really for the larger advertisers. Again, I don't know if in the future it will change, but you have some restrictions, at least at the moment, since it's not open to everyone. In the future, when it's open to more advertisers, I guess it will decrease because it's not everyone that has 50,000 to spend.
For sure.
On Google Ads.
Yeah.
Or ads in general.
And as you have worked quite a lot with this, what would you say is the main advantage of this type of ad format as opposed to on-site conversions?
On-site conversions, you need to look for the keyword, see the ad, click on the ad, visit the website, decide if you want to convert or no, and then convert. So the converting path is very large. I mean, you lose a lot of people on the way. So the shorter the path is, the better it is for you as an advertiser. In the case of search, you look for the keyword, you see the ad, you click on the ad, and automatically you have a form that opens, and then you can collect the lead. So you don't have the time to get distracted with whatever is on the landing page on the website. So you convert much faster. And this means that your conversion rate increases, your cost per conversion drops, your conversion volumes increase as well. And in the end, you increase your sale volumes.
So basically, this means that you can convert without ever visiting the website, right? Which is true, but I think here we can kind of mention that there's you can implement different strategies because obviously it's not ideal for several reasons. So you can combine it with remarketing features, or I think that's where also it comes into the picture that you have the $50,000 limit because only bigger brands would have this available. So you're probably more likely to give your contact information, your email and all of that to a big client, a big company that you already know, as opposed to a business you have only heard about for the first time, right?
That makes sense. However, the 50,000 limit is only for YouTube. So that's technically not for search. Lead form ads, they're for a specific type of user. This strategy would apply it on users who are already on the lower part of the funnel, users who are ready to take action, they want to buy soon, they want to book an appointment or a visit, or they want to act soon. You wouldn't use lead form ads to communicate in general about your brand. For this, you would want them to visit your website, to look around, to explore everything that you have there. Lead form ads, you don't do that. You don't visit the website, you just take action and you take action now. So yes, the user would convert directly from the ad without visiting the website, but it's because they know that that's what they want. So you're there to make it easier and faster for them to give the information and to collect their data.
So this would technically mean that it would be ideal to use this type of format towards the end of your conversion funnel, right?
Exactly.
So what would you say are the main benefits of using this ad format?
So the main advantage of lead formats is that the conversion path is so much shorter now. You don't need a user to visit your website and maybe get distracted and do a lot of different actions and click in a lot of places to, in the end, get a conversion. You can have your conversion directly from the ad. So the conversion rate increases, the conversion volumes increase as well, the cost per conversion drops, and in the end, you increase your sales.
I see. And can you tell us a little bit more about how do they actually work?
So let's take the example of search. The user is looking for your keyword, your ad appears, and when they click on the headline, so the blue hyperlink, the lead form displays. So in the case that they want to convert, they would leave in their data, or they can also use the autofill feature. And then the data is sent to Google Ads platform where it stays in there for 30 days. And from there, you have two options, basically. So either you install a webhook, which sends the data automatically to the CRM team, if you have one, or you download manually the leads as a CSV file, and then you send the leads to the CRM platform. So that's what I've been doing this year. I would download the leads every morning and I would send them to the CRM platform, and they would follow up with the leads and hopefully close a sale, close a deal, book a visit, something like that. The thing is that it's quite time consuming. So I would advise, if you're running a campaign for a longer period, is to just install a webhook. You can do it with platforms like Zapier, which is more time efficient. And in the end, you don't have to do it. It's much faster. You get the data in real time, and it's also safer for the data protection.
So speaking of data protection, how does Google Ads ensure data protection in this ad format?
So basically, when implementing the campaign, you have to agree to some terms saying that you won't do whatever you want with the data, you won't store it for long, so you have to agree to that. You also need to insert the link to your user protection, data protection policy on your website. And also the data is only stored on the platform for 30 days. So you need to collect it as quick as possible because it won't stay there for longer than 30 days.
Okay, thanks, Céline. So now that we have kind of a little bit of the basics down, let's talk a little bit more about how you can actually use these and what kind of strategies can you implement. So what I think a lot of people are wondering is that, does this mean that users can actually convert without ever seeing your website?
So it's possible, but it's not advisable. For example, lead formats, they're not relevant for a brand awareness strategy. With this format, we want to target users with a very high intent, users who are ready to purchase your product or service.
So this would mean that ideally someone who fills in this lead form has definitely already seen your website, maybe even downloaded the brochure, knows about your pricing, et cetera, right?
Yes.
Can you give us an example about that?
So let's take the example of an insurance company. You have different conversion points on the website, whether it's downloading a brochure or checking the location, looking for a price list, or requesting a call. Obviously, they don't weight the same in the conversion funnel. Downloading a brochure or checking the prices doesn't mean that the user is interested in buying your products. Maybe yes, but there's a high chance that no, they're still comparing, exploring, browsing. So we don't care too much about these ones. What we really want is to target the users who are ready to convert, who are ready who have already made all their research and who want to buy your products, or in this case, contact you to get an insurance. So in this case, we want to show the lead form ads to users at the bottom part of the funnel, users who already know that they want to buy. They already know, they've done their research, they're ready to take action. So these are the ones that you have to target with the lead form ads.
So based on this, the lead form compared to on-site conversions, the main advantage would be that you can kind of directly get that conversion as opposed to users getting lost on the website and starting to browse for other things and leaving without leaving their contact information, right?
Exactly.
So talking about insurances, what type of industries do you think this lead ad format would be the most useful for?
So I've tested it in the auto industry, and as you know, it's not very common yet that you can just buy a car online. So in my case, we have different conversion points, from downloading a brochure, finding a dealer, checking the prices of the car, comparing the different models, and also requesting a callback, which is one of the most valuable KPIs that we have, because you can't buy the car online. So you want users to give their phone number, and from there the CRM team would call them and book a dealer visit. So that's how it's done. And that's why this format has worked brilliantly for this industry. Another one that I can think of would be real estate, because also when setting up the campaign, you can choose to ask a specific question. So we'll get back to it later. We can ask different questions and collect specific data, from phone number to postcode, to email address or home address. But you can also ask specific questions like, when would you like to purchase this product? Or which service are you interested in? And this could be very useful for industries like real estate, service, education. We could also use it for events, so you can sign up for an event, or also the travel industry. So these are the ones that I can think would benefit the most from lead form ads. Definitely not e-commerce, because e-commerce you can just go on the website and buy on the website. But here what we want is to collect leads, to collect data, to collect information. And that's why this format came at a very good moment, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess we could say, I feel like I have a slightly different perspective than you, because I work with much smaller clients, whereas you have like a big multinational client. And I do see a lot that people tend to want to implement features just because it's something new and shiny, but it's not necessarily even relevant for their industry. So for example, as you mentioned, for e-commerces, there's probably no point for you to implement a lead form, because there's no point of you calling up people and asking that, hey, do you still want that dress, or do you still want to buy this or that? Because it's just not a productive way to close sales, because that's not how you would do it in general. So I guess we could say that for all the industries that are already collecting for leads for any specific purpose, it can be a facilitator to make it faster and easier and cheaper, right?
Yeah, I agree, because e-commerce, they already have Google Shopping, they can sell on their website, but businesses that work with leads only and that cannot sell directly on the website, they didn't have formats specific to generate leads. So now it's there, now it's possible, and now it's much easier for them to collect the leads, no matter what industry you work with. As for e-commerce, I'm thinking of, why would e-commerce clients use lead form ads when they already can sell online? Maybe as a newsletter, maybe as a pre-launch, maybe they're having an event or something. So that could be a reason, but usually I would use it for industries that cannot sell online.
That makes sense. And speaking of that, do you have any best practices to use with these lead formats?
So the first thing I would advise is to split your audiences. Remarketing on one side, new visitors on the other. When you think logically, who is more likely to convert? Someone who already has visited your website and made their research, or someone who's visiting it for the first time? Consider also that lead from ads, you don't get to visit the website. So I would advise targeting mostly remarketing users, because they've done their research. They know if they're coming back, they know that they want to purchase your product. So I would advise using lead form ads on remarketing campaigns. So the second thing I want to highlight is only collect the data that is really relevant at this point. First name, last name, and then how are you going to contact them? by email, by phone, by post. Only collect one of the three, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You just need those two to get in contact with your lead. From there, you will ask all the questions and you will eventually, hopefully, make the sale. But don't ask too many questions and don't collect too much data at this point. If you ask too much from the client or the lead at this point, it will scare off the lead and you don't want that to happen. The third point is don't wait too long before contacting your leads. Ideally, this should be done within 24 hours. They disappear within 30 days anyway, but you don't want to wait 30 days or even a week before contacting them, because in the meantime, they might forget you or have contacted already the competition. So you don't want this to happen. The fourth thing is specific to lead form extensions. Remember that extensions only appear when your ad appears at the absolute top of the page, so make sure that you maximize your impression share. And finally, if your campaign is running for more than a week or 2 weeks, I highly recommend using webhooks. So I've mentioned Zapier is one of the platforms that provides this service, and this will make the whole lead management and lead process much smoother, faster, safer as well. So I highly recommend using webhooks for that.
Thanks so much for this, Céline. So now that we have some of the basics of lead form generation on Google Ads down, in the next two videos, we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about the different types of lead form generation you can use on Google Ads. So we will see you there. Thanks so much, Céline.
You're welcome. Bye.